Excuse me?
When did you do this for? Why the shout? Why the shout? Which number? Which line number?
That number. You sure say no be bomb? No, no be me, madam. Where's the police officer? But I know the bomb disposer.
From the largest television network in Africa, the NTA, we bring to you Weekend File, where we seek the views of experts, government functionaries, movers of the economy, and the ordinary Nigerian on developmental challenges confronting the nation in an era of diversification, the process that is meant to reinvigorate all aspects of our national life in education, science, technology, and innovation, agriculture, health, and other aspects of societal development. The Weekend File crew has the onerous task of articulating all the issues, ensuring that all perspectives are brought to the table. On this show, all things matter and opinions of every class count. Weekend File shows every Saturday at 9 p.m. on the NTA network service. It is your weekend companion and a destination for news, views, and analysis. It is unmissable.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich. Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
Slavery is an evil practice abolished all over the world over 200 years ago. But today, human traffickers are selling human beings as slaves in Africa. It is your responsibility to make sure that you and the people you know do not fall into slavery. Don't believe fake promises of jobs abroad.
People went to say Libya, Italy no use you when they carry me on top water. 4 days now they lock me for inside house, no food, no water. I nearly die. Now God, when me heaven and earth, now save me. If you get 1 naira for Nigeria, you get junior 1, you say you no get papa, you no get mama, now make you come out. I beg go they do farm work. You better pass person when enter road.
Don't accept to travel to Europe through the Sahara Desert. You may be walking into slavery. Don't be a slave.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Hello. The postponement of the 2019 general elections is on our desk tonight. Good evening and welcome to the program. In the early hours of today, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, announced the postponement of February 16, 2019 general elections by 1 week. Reason for this is not unconnected with what INEC described as the identified logistic challenges that could adversely affect the elections. For further amplification, INEC said that the decision to postpone the election was born out of careful review of the implementation of its logistics and determination to conduct free, fair and credible election. Few hours ago, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu interacted with stakeholders, the media and diplomatic corps, where he provided further explanations on the decision taken. Many Nigerians have been expressing their views on the implications of the postponement, citing possible voter apathy that could play out. We shall dissect all the issues arising from the postponement in the course of the program. Well, because of the peculiarities of today, our program format will be changing very slightly. You are welcome to your weekend companion on a day like this. My name is Kirian Umayo. Thank you for joining us. We postponed the elections to avoid staggered exercise, and it was pure internal decision and not politically influenced. We apologize to you all Nigerians. Those were the words of the INEC Chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, as he addressed stakeholders today on the reasons for the postponement of the February 16 elections. Here is Mia Ugidi with the rest of the story.
This all was decorated to announce the result of the presidential election. But 5 hours left for Nigerians to cast the ballot. The program at this all changed from announcement of results to venue for meeting for the postponement of the elections. All waiting with different looks, but a word from the INEC chairman, calm Itato ruffled feathers.
We take full responsibility for what happened, and we regret any inconvenience our decision might have caused.
Inability by the INEC to distribute election materials to all centers due to aviation challenges, which was an invitation for staggered elections, destruction of some INEC offices by fire incidents were some of the reasons cited by the INEC chairman for the postponement. And the commission admits that all these are internal challenges and was not in any way influenced by external forces. So, 6-point agenda is worked out to ensure smooth rescheduled polls.
Number 1, completion or confirmation of deployment of materials. Monday, 18th February 2019. Configuration of smart card readers. Sunday, 17th to Thursday, 21st February 2019. Receipt and deployment of sensitive materials to local governments. Wednesday 20th and Thursday 21st February 2019.
Yes, it was a painful reality that confronted Nigerians, but was an event politicians found a common ground.
Elections are postponed, the labor pay continues, but we will not give up. We are determined and we must get Nigerians to remain resolute.
INEC should have been honest and upfront about his logistics issues. But we have moved from there because the election is postponed. So we've recalibrated our systems. We are ready for the election.
Despite the postponement, no campaigns, no collection of permanent voters' card. All smart card readers deployed to local government offices of INEC are to be recalled immediately to the state offices for reconfiguration and sensitive materials taken back to the Central Bank of Nigeria for safekeeping. And this excites many.
We've had him, and I'm convinced that he's genuine. I hope all Nigerians, and I hope you will be there and you will vote and vote for. Are you going to vote me?
The takeoff of the meeting was quite rough, but the landing was smooth. And Nigerians are really looking onto the promises of the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, that the 6-point agenda being rolled out for efficient and effective conduct of the elections on Saturday, 23rd of February 2019, should not be betrayed. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has appealed to his teeming supporters across the country to remain calm and be resolute following the postponement of the general elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The president said this while speaking exclusively to NTA State House correspondent Adamu Sambo at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. This was shortly after his return to the nation's capital from Daura, where he had gone to cast his ballot. President Buhari described the situation as painful and disappointing.
All got the time. It is supposed to according to their program. They were given all the resources, they had all the time, and they kept on telling us up to the last minute that they are ready. The fact that they are not ready, there is some inefficiency along the line. Thank you very much.
Tell your supporters nationwide.
Well, they should be patient. Let them come a week today and go and vote again. I apologize for this inefficiency because they have to use their own resources to go back to their polling units, wherever it is, at their own expense if they are all that committed.
The president had earlier issued a statement expressing his disappointment with the inability of INEC to conduct the presidential and National Assembly elections as scheduled this Saturday, despite assurances, preparations, and commitments by the electoral umpire. Usman Aliyu has the details.
President Buhari's message, delivered by Malam Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, was full of concern for Nigerians over the disappointment as a result of postponement of the elections.
This administration has ensured that we do not interfere in any way with the work of INEC, except to ensure that all funds were released to the Commission.
The President urged the Commission to ensure materials already distributed are safe and that the rescheduled elections are free, fair and credible.
To ensure not only that materials already distributed are safe and do not get into wrong hands, but that everything is done to avoid the lapses that resulted in this unfortunate postponement.
President Buhari therefore appealed to Nigerians to refrain from all civil disorder, remain peaceful.
The presidential candidate of People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Geda Mustafa, has also reacted to the postponement of the Presidential and National Assembly elections. The two were reacting separately to the development in Yola, describing it as unfortunate and regrettable. Ladi Bala reports.
The People's Democratic Party PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, while addressing journalists at his residence in Yola, said he received the news of the postponement of the February 16 general elections with shock. He described the development as unfortunate and disappointing.
You don't postpone elections, a few hours to the elections. We will meet and then decide on our reaction to that.
He, however, appealed to Nigerians not to be discouraged with this development, but to come out en masse and exercise their franchise. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Geda Mustafa, also reacted to the postponement, describing it as unfortunate and called on electorate not to be disappointed.
To us as a government and to us as politicians, we just hope that even the 1 week they have requested for will be adequate enough for them to be well prepared.
In Yola, Ladibala.
Nigerians arose Saturday morning to the news of the presidential polls being postponed. A new date, February 23rd, has been announced for the presidential and National Assembly elections. Meanwhile, the APC says it is disappointed, yet optimistic that Nigerians will bear patiently with the situation, while the Senate President Bukola Saraki has called the development an inconvenience to Nigerians and is calling on INEC to ensure the elections take place on February 23rd. The APC governorship candidate in Abia, Uche Oga, says the development will ensure that INEC carries out its mandate properly. In the meantime, INEC says the 1 week adjustment, though painful, is necessary in the interest of democracy. Now, the People's Democratic Party has reacted to the postponement of the February 16 presidential election by the Independent National Electoral Commission a few hours before the reactions from other political parties.
The PDP says it stands with the party's supporters and urged them to stand together in the overall interest of the nation.
The PDP directs all our members and supporters to remain calm and encourage one another at this critical time. We all must stand together in preparation for next Saturday.
Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the Advanced People's Democratic Alliance, Shitu Muhammad Kabir, has described the postponement of the election as part of INEC's effort towards the delivery of credible polls.
We want to urge Nigerians to be patient, to be patriotic, and take Nigerians first in their decision. And we should take this as a game, because it has happened before.
Similarly, the Center for Transparency, Advocacy and Election Observer Group has cautioned desperate politicians not to stand against the nation's electoral process, as INEC means well for the nation.
We will continue to preach for free, credible elections. We will continue to preach for the integrity of the electoral umpire, and we will continue to support the process that will help Nigeria make it better.
They are all of the opinion that the postponement is aimed at avoiding staggered elections in the country. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
A cross-section of the electorate in Minna, Niger State, including former head of state General Abdulsalami Abubakar, have expressed optimism that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) will deliver a credible election despite the postponement of the Presidential and National Assembly polls. Dauda Mohammed has that report.
The mood of residents in the major towns of Niger State, including the state capital Minna, is that of calm, even with the postponement of the Presidential and National Assembly elections.
We pray that this postponement should be a blessing.
Special grace of God, by next Saturday, we will come out with mass and vote for the candidate of our choice.
I've made up my mind to participate because God knows the best.
Former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, is urging Nigerians to remain calm and optimistic with the process.
It is very disappointing, but it may be appealing to all Nigerians to keep faith and be patient, and let's hope and pray that the INEC Commission will be able to get its acts together and rectify the shortcomings so that we can have this election.
According to the Independent National Electoral Commission, the postponement of this Saturday's election is based on challenges of logistics experienced during the distribution of sensitive materials. In Minna, Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
Now, the heads of the International Election Observation Missions and the United Nations have urged Nigerians to continue to remain calm and supportive of the electoral process after the Independent National Electoral Commission postponed the elections due to logistics and operational challenges. In a joint statement, the international community took note of the decision of also urging INEC to use this time to finalize all preparations and ensure that the new elections date are strictly adhered to. They advised INEC to be providing regular updates and information to the public on its preparations in the coming days to enhance confidence and trust in the process. The wife of the President, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has called on Nigerians, especially women and youths, to continue to remain peaceful and law-abiding citizens despite the inconveniences the postponement of the general elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission may have caused to them. Mrs. Buhari said this at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, while speaking to NTA State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir shortly after her arrival from Daura, following the one-week postponement of the general elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Mrs. Buhari has urged them not to be discouraged in the exercise in order to avoid political apathy for the future of the country.
They should not be discouraged at all. Definitely they should not be demoralized, because this is not the first time they are postponing elections in Nigeria.
Now, Mrs. Buhari has urged them who returned to Abuja, being unable to cast her vote due to the recent development, called on the Nigerian electorate to remain calm and to be confident in the
is one of the 14 federal bodies established under Section 153 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Section 158 of the same Constitution also guarantees its independence from any interference. Hence, INEC is the body saddled with the conduct of elections in Nigeria. As a legal entity, the Commission is guided by the laws of the land. Section 26 of the Electoral Act envisages a shift in an election date and provides grounds for INEC to postpone elections. By this section of the Act, the Independent National Electoral Commission is empowered to postpone the date of elections based on envisaged breach of peace, insecurity, and disaster.
Yeah, under the Electoral Act, I think Section 26, the Commission has the powers to postpone elections. But the postponement must be within the range allowed by the Constitution. The Constitution has prescribed the minimum number of days to the swearing in that election must take place. So it will be unconstitutional if the postponement is going to breach that provision.
In jurisprudential view, it's quite clear that the INEC has come under other exigencies to postpone these elections in keeping with the law, with the rule of law.
Undoubtedly, INEC has the powers to shift elections, postpone elections, and fix dates for elections within the parameters and ambit of the law.
The legal practitioners appealed to Nigerians to cooperate with INEC to deliver a credible, free and fair elections.
I think the law should be tinkered with to allow INEC to prepare its own budget and submit it directly to the Parliament. It need not be going through the executive, because it's supposed to be independent.
Nigerians should cooperate with INEC.
Let's engage, let's encourage INEC, let's support INEC. The end product is free, credible elections.
Observers say what is important is the unity of the country, with citizens being given the opportunity to perform their civic responsibility. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Following the rescheduled election to Saturday 23rd February and March 9th, 2019, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has directed that all small card readers sent to states be returned to the INEC headquarters, Abuja. A statement by the Secretary of the Commission, Rose Oriaran Anthony, said the card readers will be reconfigured for the rescheduled elections. Right now, let's take a short break. When we return, the program continues.
Hey, big head. I saw you. Where are you?
I'm at the bus stop.
Okay, dinner is ready and mommy wants you to come home.
Okay, I'm coming as soon as I get the bus.
What's inside this beautiful house? Inside, there is a very beautiful family. And in this family, there is a lot of love. And inside this love, there's Alpenliebe. And in the center of Alpenliebe, there is a filling made with rich milk and creamy caramel. Alpenliebe, the milk-filled candy that warms your heart with love. Alpenliebe, bring hearts closer. Now also available in stick pack.
See something? You can make the difference. Report all security incidents, suspicious activities to the National Crisis Management Center. The relevant law enforcement agencies will be directed to investigate and respond. The confidential reporter is a fearless fang who cannot be intimidated. SMS the incident to 196 toll-free. Be a fearless fang for the security of Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the National Crisis Management Center.
I was a little girl. I loved spending time with mum and grandma cleaning the house. I was so excited to sing in the choir. And your shirts are always so white. I knew what Mum's secret was. Today, I'm a modern woman that still trusts the secrets passed down to me. It's Jik, of course. The original trusted bleach, which can be used all around your house for amazing results. Shh, it's our little secret. It's no secret. It's Jik's best ever extra whitening power. Just Jik it.
So, how do I look, guys?
Aha!
What?
I see what's wrong. The wall doesn't match your elegance.
Then we must do something about it right away.
At Royal Ceramics, we offer you a wide range of beautiful wall and floor tiles designed specially to fit your lifestyle.
So, what do you guys think?
Thank goodness we changed to Royal Ceramic tiles. Like mother, like daughter.
Royal Ceramics. Finish in style.
Munch it, what a tasty, crunchy feeling. Munch it, gotta munch it every day. Munch it, just give me that super snack. Munch it, oh irresistible. Munch it, makes me wanna say one munch, two munch, don't stop munch. Munch it is here, irresistible. One munch, two munch, don't stop munch.
Try a pack of Munch It snack at 50 naira.
Mass Medical Mission has finally done it, ensuring that the prevention of cancer and cancer-related ailments is available to you right where you are. Our mobile cancer center, also known as Pink Cruise, is equipped with relevant state-of-the-art medical equipment to serve you wherever you are. All you have to do is apply for the Pink Cruise to come to your community or organization by sending a request to info@pinkcruise.org. Remember to suggest 3 alternative dates when you will prefer the Pink Cruise to come to conduct free preventive healthcare at your doorstep, including checking your body, your eyes, and your teeth. For more information on the Pink Cruise and how to take advantage of it, please log on to www.pinkcruise.org or visit us at the MMM House, number 31 Abode Thomas Street, Surulere, Lagos, or call 0805-633-4288. Mission Pink Cruise, taking wellness to all.
And you're welcome back. Last Friday, about 66 people were reported killed in some villages in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State by unknown gunmen. It's a development that compelled the Kaduna State government to act promptly to prevent escalation and reprisal attack. Governor of Kaduna State, Malam El-Rufai, joins us now from our Kaduna studio. Good evening, Governor El-Rufai, and thank you for joining us. Now, we learned, you just returned, we learned from some villages in Kajuru local government area. Can we share the situation you met, when you got there?
We left this afternoon with the General Officer Commanding 1st Mechanized Division of Nigerian Army, General Yahaya, whose men were the first on the scene of the unfortunate attacks, and the Commissioner of Police Kaduna State and the base commander of Nigerian Air Force. We all went to Kasuma Gani first. We had meetings with community leaders to hear from them. And from there, we went to the scenes of the attacks to see for ourselves what evidence is there of graves and so on and so forth. The situation is quite unfortunate. We appeal to community leaders to maintain peace, and we regret these deaths, several deaths. Numbers vary from 66 killed according to the Nigerian Army. That's what they found. We saw some of the graves. And 74 according to some community leaders, including over 136 still missing. So the death toll is not final. We don't know how many have died, but what is certain is that 66 have been killed and buried. And the army is there and other security agencies to preserve order. Some of the communities have deserted from their villages, and about 7 settlements, Rugas, Fulani settlements, were attacked and more or less wiped out. But happily there were some survivors and eyewitnesses, and they have been helping the security agencies with names and identities of the perpetrators, and some arrests have been made. It is quite sad and unfortunate, and very disturbing for the Kaduna State government. We are quite concerned that some people are trying to politicize this. Parties are acting very irresponsibly to operate as if they are a parallel government. I am the governor of the state, and I receive security briefings every morning about the state of the state. And it was based on the security briefings we made announcements. But some activists, some busybodies are saying that I lied. How can I lie about the deaths of people? Human life is very important to us, every single human life. We sanctify that, we respect that, and we do not play politics with that. And I do take my job seriously as the Chief Security Officer of the state, and would like to protect the life and property of every citizen. I am saddened by the attitude of some of these civil society activists who have no legitimacy, no mandate other than trying to grab headlines and names for themselves. It is most unfortunate. But here in Kaduna, we are mourning. Our citizens have been killed. And we're working with community leaders. We've appealed to everyone not to take the law into their own hands, to ensure there are no reprisals, and the police and the other security agencies are vigorously investigating and will bring all those behind this to justice by the grace of God. To justice by the grace of God.
All right, Malam El-Rufai, you are reported to have on several occasions attributed the unending killings in Kaduna State to failure by previous administrations to bring the perpetrators to justice. Has this changed now?
Yes, it has changed to some extent. We have many prosecutions. This is the third time we've had serious problems in Kajuru local government. The first was last year in February, and the second arrests were made. 69 people were arrested and are being prosecuted, but the wheels of justice grind slowly, as they say. There was another outbreak in October. Many more arrests were made. We found that some of those arrested and were being prosecuted in February, arising from the February incident, were also involved in planning the October 2018 incident. They are being prosecuted. And now we have made some arrests on this particular instance, and we are prosecuting them vigorously. The justice system is slow. Our judges in Kaduna State are overworked. The average High Court judge has more than 200 cases, so it is not easy to quickly dispense justice, but we are on it. We are changing the narrative. We are doing our best to prosecute all those involved in these killings.
All right, Malam El-Rufai, let's pause you for a while to enable us to play you a clip or a report on the Kajuru killings.
Governor Nasiru Ahmed El-Rufai, accompanied by heads of security agencies in the state, spent close to 3 hours to get to the affected communities of Iri, Marugida, and Ongwamborja, among others. The community leaders said they were attacked by unknown gunmen who killed about 66 persons, including women and children. More than 100 members of the communities, they said, are still missing. The governor described the incident as unfortunate, as the communities are still deserted, while scores of animals killed during the incident litter the premises. He was informed that scores of the slain victims of the attack were buried in a nearby stream by the perpetrators. The governor appealed to the people to remain calm, assuring them that the complete merchants will be brought to justice. In Kaduna, Maijama Adamu, NTA News.
All right, Governor, let's return to you now. You have seen the report. You were there in person, as a matter of fact. But let me ask you this. Synergy between security agencies and government should be key to handling such problems. Speak to that. Are you having such a relationship with the security agencies with respect to Kaduna being very volatile in terms of killing?
We are very grateful to the federal government for its security assets, and I want to say that we have had maximum cooperation of all the security agencies. The Nigerian Army 1st Mechanized Division is always available whenever we need them. The Operation Safe Haven operating out of the 3rd Division in Jos, also available. The Nigerian Police, particularly our Commissioner of Police, has been excellent. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, we have no complaints about the security agencies. The problem often is that some of these communities are isolated, and in this particular instance, it took us nearly 2 hours to get to these hamlets, these rugas, these Fulani settlements. They are in the middle of nowhere. And even though the army got reports and moved as quickly as possible, by the time they went there, the deed has been done. They have been killed by a militia. It seems to be a very premeditated, organized, and systematic wiping out of this settlement, 7 settlements in all, and it was nearly impossible for the security agencies to get there as quickly as possible because of the nature of the terrain and the fact that most of these settlements are in the middle of nowhere. But we've had maximum cooperation and synergy between our security agencies on the one hand and the state government on the other. They have been supportive to us and we've been supportive to them. We have no complaints whatsoever.
All right, the final question, Your Excellency. Crises like the one in Kajuru must have come with displacements. How are you reacting to that? And those who were able to survive that attack?
Well, for most of the settlements were totally wiped out. There are some people that have been displaced. They are in Kaswa, Magani, and other surrounding settlements. We are reaching out to them to provide support, and we are promising to rebuild some of the communities. But what is of concern to them now is to be able to go back to their communities and recover some of their animals. Many of their animals were killed. You saw that on the clip. But they want the protection of the security agencies to go and recover their animals, and that is being done. And we are doing whatever we can. Our State Emergency Management Agency and the Kajuru local government are working together to look after them until they are taken back to their respective communities. So that is being worked on. And by the grace of God, before the middle of this week, we would have more or less concluded that.
All right, thank you very much, the Governor of Kaduna State, Malam El-Rufai. It's been nice talking to you this evening on that incident. All right, you're still watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. Let's take a short break now. When we come back, we'll bring you the closing part of the bulletin.
Going up? Of course you are. And why not? With Glow Internet, built on Africa's largest wholly owned metro fiber network, the sky is, well, it is rather unlimited. Up is upbeat, seamless. Up is quick and easy access to all your favorite apps and entertainment. And there is no downside on a network committed to upping your fun and productivity. Get quick on the uptake, my friend, and upset the odds in your favor. Because on Glow, up isn't an upgrade. It is the upgrade. Going up?
Upgrade to a 4G SIM for free and get 125% bonus. Also enjoy unconditional 25% data bonus non-stop on all auto renewals. Dial *777# to choose a plan.
Give me the value pack. Helen!
You do great value shopping.
Absolutely. I'm a champion at getting value.
Then you must have bought the Hapic 200 ml.
Why Hapic when I have
this? Even after applying them 10 times, they won't give a sparkling clean toilet.
Impossible.
Challenge. Detergent and bleach can't give a sparkling clean toilet even after 10 times. But Hapic 200 ml gives a sparkling clean toilet at one go.
Wow.
Hapic 200 ml. Real deal. Now only 200 naira.
This used to be me. But that was before I got the perfect bag. It's handy and easy to use. All I need in one compact space, just like my MTN Extra Value plan. I used to get one plan for my calls and then try to remember which data plan worked for me. Roaming was a totally different ballgame. Not anymore. I've got the MTN Extra Value all-in-one plan. If you're a data buff like me, you get extra data with some talk time. And if you like to make calls, you get extra talk time with some data. And when I'm abroad, I automatically browse, chat, and call right on the same plan. MTN Extra Value was made just for me.
More of data or calls, whichever one you prefer. MTN Extra Value is made just for you.
Team huddle.
But we lost.
Don't be tired, guys. This isn't a loss. It's a practice for winning.
Nothing makes a mother prouder than seeing her child growing up. But I know as he learns to lead, he'll face even more dirt, germs, and risk of illness.
That's why in changing seasons, you need strong Dettol protection. Because Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
From our wonderful family, meet our active triplets. Mixology, for example, mixes well with drinks. Then enjoy every quick meal with Slurp It Off. And everywhere you go, there is Go-Gurt. Packed with healthy nutrition, nourishing vitamins, power of protein, strength calcium, revitalizing energy. Hollandia yogurt is bursting with goodness inside and out. Hollandia yogurt, it's all good.
Now, reactions keep coming, of course, on the postponed general elections. And our correspondent, Kenneth Nanim, interacted with some informed minds on the development.
Various political parties, various groups, the civil society organizations, election monitoring groups, the media, and indeed other Nigerians have made concerted efforts to be part of the 2019 general elections until they were greeted by the news of the election postponement by INEC at the early hours of today. That notwithstanding, the stakeholders have continued to urge Nigerians not to be deterred by the situation, but to continue to be patriotic and also come out in their numbers to cast their ballot next week without fear or favor.
Don't get everybody to believe that you are ready when you are not ready. That is a very wrong thing to do. And because it has happened, and people are beginning to make some speculations.
We pray that they will keep to their words, because we all believe them. Even the president has traveled to his hometown for this.
I think the challenge now is for INEC to make the next election far better than 2015, so that we have some incentive and some consolation for this huge economic loss for both the country, for citizens, and the parties too.
Under this very administration, it is very clear that INEC is very independent. Very independent. It's one of the teething problems in the developing democracy. Important is that our nation, the unity of our nation, the peace of our nation is far above anybody's ambition.
They also urged INEC to use this period to extend days for PVC collection, tidy up all security arrangements,
deployment of men and materials, as well as ensure that sensitive materials already distributed are safeguarded for a credible conduct. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
News of the postponement of the presidential elections by INEC has continued to generate reactions from across the country. From the southwest, including Lagos, Akure, and Abuja, the feeling is the same, with the electorate making a case for INEC and asking that it be given the benefit of doubt. Miriam Abata compiled the reports.
News of the postponement of the presidential elections by INEC has continued to generate reactions from across the country. From the southwest, including Lagos, Akure, and Abuja, the feeling is the same, with the electorate making a case for INEC and asking that it be given the benefit of doubt.
It was shocking. Yeah, and for me, the reasons they gave are valid. If we are not ready, then why should we go ahead and have the election? And we all know issues. There have been complaints here and there, ballot boxes and materials probably missing in transit and all what. If the postponement will guarantee fair election, why not?
Well, it came as a shock. We're all prepared to do the needful this morning, just to our greatest dismay. Well, we've had the INEC chairman speak. If it's reason of logistic, I think we should just give him a benefit of the doubt.
However, reactions from Ibadan speak of disappointment as the people say the least expected the postponement considering the level of preparedness.
There must be a reason for the postponement, and I want to say that this reason can only be for the electioneering process to be much more better than what we have.
Of unpreparedness that they are communicating to the people in this country and to the international community is really detrimental to our democracy.
I've traveled all the way to my village to exercise my rights, but it's rather unfortunate that it's been postponed and we have to return back to Ado this morning. Our expectation is that people will still go ahead and exercise their right. I personally will still go as far as the election we hold as they have rescheduled it.
Nigerians are, however, hopeful that INEC will get it right on the 23rd of February 2019. In Abuja, Miriam Akbata, NTA News.
And joining us again from our Kaduna studio is Kabir Mato, Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. He is a professor of political science. Professor Kabir, you're welcome to Weekend File.
Very much, Kirian.
Your concern with respect to the postponement of the elections. Of course, you have watched Nigerians respond to this postponement. What's your own reaction?
Well, thank you very much. I think, it's rather a very unfortunate development in view of the fact that over the time, INEC has been promising Nigerians that all is well and they are ready to go. All arrangements were said to have been completed for the conduct of elections, today. Unfortunately, in early hours of this morning, they came up with, reasons. Of course, the reasons might be as plausible as they sounded, but obviously, that will not take away the very huge disappointments that several Nigerians, not even Nigerians, people who are prepared to observe this election, the Africans and the rest of the global community would have about the postponement. So I think it's really very unfortunate, especially when it's placed against the backdrop of what has happened. This is consecutively in the last 20 years, the third time that an election will be postponed, by the sheer inability of the electoral agency to get its acts together as at when due. in this direction, I think therefore INEC needs to double up, needs to do a lot of more serious work in order to be able to avoid this in the future. One of the implications of this is that there will be tremendous loss of confidence on the part of several citizens. That's apart from the very obvious economic difficulties that many people will have to encounter to move to their respective voting areas from their places of residences, and then not have to go back, and then we'll have to prepare and go back again. It has a tendency of likely even affecting the voter turnout, because it's not everybody that will have to travel long distances that will again try to go back to, despite the fact that he or she might desire to exercise his or her civic responsibility of electing representatives at various levels of governance. The bottom line, like I did say, is that INEC has to sit up. It's really very disheartening, it's disappointing that again in 2019 they will come up with this, and then barely 5 hours when Nigerians were prepared to go and exercise their civic responsibilities, only for them to bring up the issues of logistics, which in my very humble opinion, are not sufficient reasons, to be brought at this very crucial time, especially, like I said, given the manner in which the Commission consistently, raised the flags and the hope of Nigerians that everything is ready, all is well. I think it's really a very serious infraction as far as the conduct of the responsibilities is concerned. But I do hope that when the elections are eventually conducted, they will still draw the necessary confidence, or the outcome of the elections will draw the necessary confidence that Nigerians, will desire from the process. But it's really unfortunate.
Professor Kabiru, I was actually going to ask you about voter apathy, but you have made reference to that. So let me talk about the credibility crisis, which is another fear observers strongly believe the postponement is likely to generate. How can that be avoided?
I think then the political parties, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and other concerned citizens, and this is precisely where the civil society groups are supposed to be active, not just in creating confusion and commenting on matters, that are of, outside their horizon. I think it's really very important for every segment within the Nigerian nation today to come out and, not just, insisting that INEC conducts a very free, fair, and credible election, but be able to win in the hearts of citizenry, especially those that will be so disappointed with the development. Of course, it's not likely that you take away this, political arithmetic outside the minds of several people who may believe, and on each side of the political divide, who might want to think that the postponement is actually as a result of certain, shortcut or certain infractions that the Independent National Electoral Commission desires to achieve, when the election is eventually conducted. So I think it is our collective responsibility as citizens, as stakeholders in Nigeria, to come out and convince the citizenry that indeed what has happened should not in any way, discourage or affect negatively on the credibility of the election that will come out next week and in 3 weeks from now. So, like I said, it's a collective responsibility. The political parties, the Independent National Electoral Commission, of course, INEC is already on its knees begging Nigerians for forgiveness and accepting the entire blame. That's not enough in some, they really have to work hard to be able to convince, especially the pundits from amongst us, that the process will certainly not be negatively affected by this unfortunate development that's taking. People raise a lot of issues about the fact that sensitive election materials have already been distributed to various nooks and crannies of Nigeria, and of course we know that there are a lot of places in this country where we are faced with tremendous security challenges. So the sanctity and the safety of this sensitive electoral materials is one fundamental issue that I think INEC will have to come out and address in the next few days so that Nigerians will see. I am aware, for instance, that the decision has been taken that most of these sensitive and even non-sensitive materials be returned to the central bank in 36 states and Federal Capital Territory. As laudable as that decision may be, there will still be a lot of skepticism in the minds of several people as to the fact that something must have happened, or something is likely to happen, in the process of returning these sensitive and non-sensitive materials, to safe positions in our various state capitals. But I want to also, clearly see that it is very important for all of us, especially the political parties, instead of playing a divisive role of, trying to show the world that you are the King Kong, or you are the one that is this particular decision is taken to change. I think the right thing to do now is for the political parties, especially the major political parties, to come together and educate their followers in ensuring, while on the one hand insisting that transparent process within the Independent National Electoral Commission takes place. On the other hand, the political parties should be able to carry their peoples along by encouraging them not to lose hope on this unfortunate development, to the extent that the elections next week is conducted freely, fairly and credibly. And I think this is basically the issue. And like I did say also, the civil society has a fundamental role to play. Traditional institutions, religious leaders, etc., etc. If really the statement that we got from INEC is anything to go by, the issue of logistics is really very, very important. How you distribute it and how well it is kept under absolute security, I think should be acceptable to Nigerians. But like I did say earlier on, it is very, very relevant for every stakeholder within the Nigerian enterprise to ensure that INEC does the right thing, and secondly also that citizens do not lose hope in the process, because it is too late in the hour for anybody to want to begin to cast several different aspersions as to what the real objectives of this postponement is.
Indeed, and to add to what he said, of course, INEC is also recalling card readers for reconfiguration. Well, thank you at this point, Kabiru Maltu, Professor Kabiru Maltu, Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Kaduna State. It's been very nice talking to you. We appreciate you. Thank you. This is Weekend File, and we'll take a short break now.
Your perfect family is under threat by germs. Infectious diseases are now the world's biggest killer of adults and children. These infectious diseases are caused by germs. They are everywhere. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily in unclean water, dirty surfaces, in the toilets, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes. Germs can cause deadly diseases like typhoid, diarrhea, flu, and cough. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's One Cup Flu for surface cleaning, in your bathing water, in your laundry water, for first aid to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Introducing Dettol Antiseptic Liquid in Sachet for only 40 naira.
Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
And sports is next.
Seven-time champions Nigeria's Flying Eagles finished fourth for the first time at the CAF Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations after going down 3-5 to South Africa via penalties, following a goalless 90 minutes in Niger 2019 third-place match. Amajita thus placed third, while Nigeria's consolation is qualification with the top 4 teams for the 2019 FIFA Men's World Cup in Poland.
For the very first time, and they've done it! The first miss from Al Hassan has proved fatal for Nigeria.
The final match of the tournament is slated for Stade Séné-Kountché between Mali and Senegal on Sunday. Following the successful hosting of the 2019 Nigeria Open Taekwondo International Championship at the Velodrome of the Abuja National Stadium, the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development say more competitions will be hosted at the venue soon. This is against the backdrop of the inability of the venue to host international competitions over 15 years.
We are equally pursuing the process of accreditation of this certification of this facility, and when that one is done, every week I will look forward to a situation where this venue, this center will be eventful.
Ethiopian teenager Samuel Tefera broke Isham El Garouj's 22-year-old 1,500 meters indoor record with a stunning performance at the Birmingham Grand Prix in the UK. The 19-year-old finished 31.04 seconds faster to beat El Garouj's previous mark of 3 minutes 31.18 seconds set in Stuttgart in 1997. With sports updates, Ayodeji, Makinde NTA News.